This is Cyrus Broacha reporting live from some place where I hear nasal sounds happening. Obviously, my co-chairpersons of the committee are not muted, but this is a cock and bull of sorts. And today we've got some various topics to discuss. And I swear today, whatever happens, we will discuss at least one. Okay, we've been very poor with the average in 2021, but 22 is going to be different. We will discuss one or two topics every time. There's no point in having a show about discussion when there's no discussion. The whole discussion is a pointless discussion because you don't reach the point of the discussion, which we had in point form, written and given to each other before the show starts. But before that, I have a slight confession to make, and I'll bring in my two good co-hosts, the two amigos. We form the three, and that is, I've noticed there are some people who have very high-pitched voices, you know, and it's very difficult to not react in a slightly awkward or funny way and perhaps embarrass them. I don't know how to deal with these people. We have now employed someone who's working here in the house, and she speaks in a very high tone, and I'm always taken aback by that. It's like a 6-year-old is talking to me in the body of an adult, so it's a little scary. How do we deal? These are There are all kinds of minorities in this world. Sometimes it's based on religion, caste, community, all that. But they're much more important minorities for me, which don't have a voice, ironically, here because it's a very high pitched one. And I want to discuss that with you. If you know and have in your area a person with a very high pitched voice and how that throws you off your game and you don't know how to do an interaction with the person without disrespecting them or causing them offense, then this is the right platform for you. And this is a point we will discuss. Let me bring on the show the one and only beautiful Amit Doshi and gorgeous Silvery, also known as Antariksh. Guys, I'm perplexed.
So,
This is
so.
a serious problem. It sounds flippant, but it's not. You see, every time they talk, I tend to smile. I get this, yeah, I get that awkward like that. And the person just says something like phone hair. And if, you're like that, it doesn't make sense. There's no reason that the communication was funny. But and I think now that it's there, it's like in my head, the ring is going to happen every single time I hear the voice. And I don't know how to deal with it. And this happened before. It goes back to, in fact, Seinfeld had an episode I remember. It's a
High
pure Larry
talker.
David, high talker.
No, that was a low talker, not the high
Low
talker.
talker, low talker, low talker. But it's the same thing, It's just the
Ah,
awkwardness of their speech pattern which throws you, and then you don't know how to react. That, of course, was genius, where he doesn't know if the next date is on or not. That's another story. But
You should
mine
ask them
here,
to sing it in song, right? Because then it'll be called, what is that, a falsetto? If
yes,
they
yes,
sing it in song.
exactly what you're saying is what I thought. I was thinking of all
Yeah.
the mischief in your head. You're thinking
Yeah.
about how would they be as a PA announcer? How would they be at the airlines? At the airport, telling you, "Hey, flight number 785 is ready for morning." I was all these thoughts. You know how we are, with no malice, really. I hope, but yeah. But I'm. This is a difficult time in my life for me to handle this thing at the moment. I just don't know how to do it, and I don't want to offend them because it's not their fault. Or there's no. Firstly, there is no fault. It's just a different
yeah.
voice. It's a bit like you're taking racism and prejudices to another level now. In the end, you see, we're all caught with some form of prejudice. And but my first question to both of you is: do you know any high talkers or high pitched voices in
Oh yeah,
adults amongst your friends?
many,
You remember Mike
many,
Tyson,
many.
Sachin Tendulkar, all these have been made fun of.
So those are there, but I mean, like even amongst my friends, I have quite a few who are uh surprisingly kind of thin, reedy voices. Like
Yes.
6'3", big guy. You're assuming like
Yeah.
booming voice of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
at
The
this
visual package
case
is so different. Yeah.
yeah, and what you wind up with is a so it's not like this it's not that, but it's like a really thin voice. Like I was watching a documentary a couple of weeks ago on Abraham Lincoln, basically around the Civil War stuff, right? And one of the things that people were constantly surprised with him is how high pitched his voice was, because again,
Really?
Yeah.
that guy's like
So
huge,
I
right?
am
He's
reading
like,
this article right now. I'm
huh?
reading this article right now to Amit's point, right? It's called Male Celebrities with Surprisingly High Voices, a Celebration. And the first name
Okay,
is Abraham Lincoln. Like, what are the odds that
yeah,
he would say
there
that?
you go,
Four
there you
scores
go.
and four scores and 11,000 years ago. Oh God,
Yeah, no,
that would
because
be like
again, yeah,
with
you
malice
see,
towards none and charity towards all. I mean, how's that going to work? How did the birth of
no,
a
it,
nation
it
come out of
sounds
that?
like a very baritone voice, but apparently the Daniel Day Lewis voice in
Hmm.
the movie Lincoln, right, is actually
Yeah,
very close to what he actually sounds like. So
yeah.
because Abraham Lincoln, I think, is the first or the earliest president whose actual voice survives in voice recordings, right, in phonographs and stuff like that. So
But
you
did
can
it?
actually hear what his voice sounds like.
Dead in
And
1863, right? So was
um,
there anything?
yeah, the phonograph was there. I think you had wax phonographs.
Or maybe word of mouth was enough because at least one
Uh,
generation apart. Yeah.
Maybe it could be, but no, I'm pretty sure there is. Yeah, see, there is a voice recording on YouTube available of Abraham Lincoln.
Can we hear it at some point? I would love to hear the
I
voice.
can play it right now.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in your life, Abraham Lincoln's voice from the dead. And apparently, this is what it sounds like after 170 years. Let's see.
Chrome tab, share audio, Lincoln speaks, share. Oh wait, sorry, this is a documentary. This is not the actual voice.
Hey, we don't have
I'm
any
sorry.
topics.
It's a
We don't have any
documentary called
topics.
Lincoln Speaks.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I thought it was
We'll
his.
just play the documentary. It's fine. We can
No, no,
all take a break.
I'll find what we need in the meantime, right? Because I know that I've
Uh,
heard this before.
So there was this actor
okay,
model called Deepak Malhotra, was it? Who remember Amit back in many years ago in the 90s or something? He was launched. He had a very it was like the top of the line model. They launched him in a movie, and then I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
he had a high
From
voice.
yes, 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 the Sridevi movie,
Yeah, yeah,
with
yeah, 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 yeah.
Anil Kapoor and Sridevi in double role, and
Yes,
like
yes,
the
that's right, that's
incestuous
right.
movie,
Correct, correct,
kind of
correct.
semi-incestuous movie. What
Yes,
was that
and
movie
what
called?
stood out?
Yash Chopra movie.
Yes, you're getting it all right, but the point is the voice.
Sridevi in the desert first as an older woman for Anil Kapoor's mustacheless
Okay,
hero,
then
and then
I'm
after
sorry I
that,
brought out
his
your bad
adopted
side.
daughter.
Lamhe.
I know this
This
Lamhe.
stuff,
is
man.
this
Lame,
film
that's it. Lame.
tormented him for
Yeah.
25 years, but above all, it was the voice of the main
Yes,
hero. Which
Paro,
and in Hindi films, the
Paro.
hero not having a deep voice is very difficult. I
Yeah.
mean, in the last 10 years they've survived, of course, but in the old days, impossible.
No,
So
but
that
for
what
him,
was am I
it was not just the voice; it was also the accent.
the accent, the voice, but the voice I remember was all talking about it and making a big deal out of it. The voice.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
I know because it sounded insane.
yeah. Oh,
So this
I
speaking of
article
the
is
remember.
voice,
saying
somebody
Mike
passed behind
Tyson
me.
has a surprisingly high
Yes,
voice if you think about
He
it.
has a
high
very high
voice.
voice.
He's got
Yeah.
a slightly high voice.
I
Yeah,
Yeah.
got
yeah.
I gotta tell you.
But and remember
Uh,
when these
Charlie
guys
Brown.
have great bodies of work and with high pitched voices come on stage, that's terrible. I've done a show like
Yeah.
that once. I remember in Delhi somewhere, and I remember calling. I think it was German or French or something. He was a CEO worldwide. And so let's call him Mr. Smith. And I said, ladies and gentlemen, a 7-time Golden Gloves winner, this, that, the one and only Mr. Smith. Hello, how are you? Everybody, somebody, but it was awkward. It's so awkward those
Yeah.
moments because you can't laugh. Anyway, here, so I'm very scared to interact with this lady with a light voice. So are we getting to see the Lincoln recording or shall we move on?
No, I think we need to move on because I think that I am thinking of a. I'm thinking of something else. It's not there.
Don't worry, we'll save the day. Silvery, our talent on board, in-house talent, is going to do a southern accent from the 1860s as Lincoln. He's also got half a beard, so he's already
Lincoln,
there.
not southern. By definition,
Midwest.
non-southern, no, Midwest. Yeah,
Uh, okay,
his
so
problem was
Midwest.
with the South.
I mean, I
Yeah.
can do I say that kind of accent.
Wait. First, let
But
Amit gloat over the
uh,
fact that the whole fight was between South and North, and I put him the wrong side. He's very happy with that. I was just trying
No, no,
to
no. I'm
understand.
not.
Remember the
That's
birth.
listen. I just expect to be right all the time. That doesn't mean that I expect
In
other
this
people
very,
to.
very low fruit here, bro. Me and Silvery. What's wrong with you? I can't remember anything, and he doesn't care. Silvery, come on, try. Okay,
okay.
let's face it. We're not going to go south or north of America. We'll just go
Yeah.
into America with this voice. Yeah, if we can.
Okay, so I'm thinking it's like a high pitched voice, like an
Yeah,
elderly
it's got to be.
person,
It's
high
yeah.
pitched voice.
Well, not elder.
Like,
In his pomp, like proper male. So you can be yeah,
okay,
whatever.
so listen to me, my fellow Americans. I don't know. That's the best.
Wow.
But it doesn't sound Western. I think that
No, it's
much.
not bad. It's not bad. It's much better than some of the other older stuff. Don't worry. It's not bad at all.
Wow. Okay.
We'll give
Wow.
you
The
if we
bar is
find
so
the
low.
reference. If we find the reference, we'll move it. We'll give you another chance. But the reference will
Okay.
make a
Cool.
difference.
Yeah.
Amit,
Cool.
you
Cool.
want to take a crack at it since you're the only one who's heard the voice?
I don't do voices, dude. I
You
can't do
do.
voices.
How, what a hypocritical thing to say. Every break
What?
is your voice.
No, no. I
What do
do
you
my own
say?
voice. I can do my own voice. I can't mimic other voices.
Uh,
My
can you do?
doing
Can
my
you do Amit? Can you do Amit Shah, the Home Minister?
Yeah, I can do Amit Shah,
Because
the
that's
Home
one way we
Minister.
can get a sponsor. I was just
That's
thinking.
true,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
That is true. Maybe I should just show up rather than like actually try and speak. Maybe if I just show up, it'll work.
But then don't talk
Just
at
like
all. But you don't need to.
just do
Yes,
something like
yes.
that.
Superb,
Snap
superb.
my hands, point my fingers
Yeah,
around,
yeah,
and things
yeah.
will happen.
But you would have
Who
lots of
knows if they're
chelas, you
good
know.
or bad?
Yeah. Well, I think for now you're pretty much safe. We should everything. The doors will open. The doors will definitely open. Okay, so since we can't get Abraham Lincoln, let's go into our first story of the day, which
Yep.
is not
Before
bad.
the main story,
Oh, good.
that we have,
Okay,
there's
so
another
yeah,
thing.
That was a
dude,
bit
you
early
should know
for
to
The
us.
start
video.
this. Yeah, I know, man.
No,
What
no,
the
no.
hell? Less
The
than 10
moment you
minutes
said
and we're
before, I
starting the
know we're
story.
back in form. Yeah, no, no, no.
No, 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 no,
This
no, no,
is
no.
right. My
There's a little
mistake to go
video.
into the story of the day. What kind of idiot does that? Yeah.
There's a little
Go on.
video that I need Cyrus to take on, since Cyrus is such a gym buff. I need to share this with Cyrus.
It's going to be a
Okay.
funny
Tell
one, I'm
me, do you guys
sure.
see my screen? You guys see my
Yeah.
screen?
Yes.
Oh
This is
my!
this is
What a
Modi ji
position to put me in, yeah. Oh,
working
Wait,
out.
wait,
yeah.
that's not a pull-up machine. That's a push machine, isn't it?
Yeah,
Or
it
is it a
looks
It's
pull
like a
pushing him
machine?
shoulder.
up while he's
It
pulling it
looks like a
down.
lat pull down machine, which is he's using to push. Now he's doing the correct thing
Sorry,
somewhat.
the quality
Should
is
be
really bad
facing
on this somehow. I don't
should
know
be
why it's
facing the
not
other
pulling
way
up.
firstly, generally,
Okay.
and sitting. But I guess that's not going to happen.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a multi-purpose sort of machine. Um, let's just say yoga is his thing. Yoga is his thing. This is, for me, when in a gym, when you see people's body language, you can quickly tell who's interested in training and who's not. There's a certain, it's with everything in life. When you're on stage with people, you can tell people who are happy and comfortable and those who are feeling awkward and shy or
Hmm.
whatever immediately. Or in a cricket pitch or a football match or poker, you can tell the body language and the whole idea is, and after that, the person who reveals less wins in a sense. So,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to comment too much on this. I'd let the Home Minister speak. Sir, what did you feel as someone who's closer? You can you,
I
I
don't
read
know
a
what to
you can
comment which
say.
always
was really
talk about
funny.
the color.
I
When
read
in
I
doubt, Amit,
I
also
read
talk
want to
about the
say.
color. The color yellow was far too bright, I felt, for any gym. Yeah.
Okay.
It makes it sound like
I,
I
one of
I
those
do not know what to say to that.
nursery school sort of colors. Yeah, the yellow. Huh. Bolo?
I read a
Silvery?
Twitter comment which was really funny.
Yeah.
It was something to, I forgot who it was, and it was something to the tune of, "This is Arnold Sarvasthanagar,"
Okay.
like just changing the name
Hey, listen, I mean,
basically.
it's good
Really
to
funny.
exercise, right? I mean, like, he should exercise. We should be happy that he's exercising.
And he does. He's supposed to
Yeah.
regularly exercise. Ever since
Yoga.
demonetization happened as well, you got to exercise much more because in the old days you had to reach for cash in your pocket and you got to search for all kinds of things. Paperwork here, paperwork there. It takes hours to get things together. But I'll say this: if it was Joe Biden or most of the world leaders, elderly world leaders, that is, I think they would all be challenged if you put them inside a gym and suddenly expect them to do something. There's one guy. There's one guy who can show them all what it's like, and that's a guy called Putin. Apparently, he spends more time in
Well,
the gym than he spends in parliament. So
yeah, I
that's
know.
the other, and you can see the results. You can ask
Yes, you
Ukraine.
can.
Yeah, they'll tell you all about it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
But
two things.
yeah.
When you're doing these presses or pulls with machines, I think it was a lat machine all said and done, and he was doing shoulder press. But that's or maybe it's a multi-purpose. You can do both. Couldn't 100% tell. The wrist is always a giveaway. Just the other day, somebody in the gym was trying to say, "But you just see my form." But they had limp wrists while doing that. I don't know why men do that from time to time. Not to say it's a gay thing, and not to say gay thing is a bad thing or anything like that. But you actually don't really do this. Have you seen guys who do that while boxing? I gave him one
Yeah,
punch.
it's like the guy who the punches,
Yeah,
like
yeah, with the
the
thumb in.
fist
Yeah,
is
oh
like
yeah, yeah,
this,
yeah. The thumb in. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the thumb
I mean,
inside.
that's
Yeah,
so
I
when
know
they're
what you're
telling a
getting at.
story of valor, it doesn't make any sense that he punched
Yeah,
anyone like that.
correct.
And that was a
Dude, I had a
dead.
cousin whose fist was this. I have a cousin
Yeah,
who's, this is his fist. This is the fist he makes. I
yeah.
don't know why this is the case. But he's like,
Because
dude,
that,
Oh
that
I
way
my
you
like
can
god.
when I
you,
punch
you can
someone, I'll punch you with
you
the
can
thumb.
poke him also, right? That's the idea.
Yeah,
Can you imagine? Can you imagine your
exactly.
cousin has a fist like this? Firstly, that ridiculous fist. Then it's bent
Yeah,
like that, which seems to have no
yeah,
energy in it.
yeah,
And thirdly, he's got a
exactly.
high pitched voice. So he gets into a road fight. The first thing, "Ye kya
Yeah.
bola sala?" The guy will be like, "Wow, this is the fight I wanted." All right, that was it. Where do you get this video
Yeah.
from?
So
I,
it was just before New Year's actually, and I've been meaning to show it for like the last few weeks, but we just keep covering other topics. But it happened
I don't
around
want
New
to be
Year's when he
critical,
was visiting
but I
New Year.
heard someone in the opposition say he only did two reps. Huh? By the way. felt that there was a little bit.
Well, okay, that's probably true, but does that
Listen,
matter?
that's as far as we can go. Let's not cross that line now. We've reached the point where we've said what we have to say, and it's fine. Elderly gentlemen playing around the gym. That's it.
Yes.
Amit, would you like to comment? Or should we
No, I
call
have nothing
Munawar
to say.
Faruqi and Kunal
That
Kamra and
would be.
ask them to handle it?
It'll be safer to have them do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. By the way, there's a blanket invite in Telangana
Hmm.
by the Chief Minister to Munawar Faruqi to come and perform. Huh? And I think you had vaguely said something to that effect, but now I got all the details. And so they've said you come only because of this third wave, so-called third wave or
Mm,
whatever, they pushed it back a bit. Full like
mm.
big stadium or whatever, and people then will let's see who's going to stop you, that kind of thing.
It's
So
all well and good, but he's
politics.
still a political football, right? Like I
Well, he
mean,
still
like
has
what?
five states. He can perform in five states at the
Yeah.
moment. So
No, but he's still a
you know,
political football, which is the
yeah.
unacceptable part of this, right?
No, and the
It
problem,
doesn't matter left or right who is blocking, right? Because right
yeah.
now we are blocking on the left.
No, in a way,
That's right.
it's
Right
you're
now it's
playing
being
into
blocked on the right. It'll be blocked on the left. Somebody
no,
else will block
no,
on
no,
the
no, no.
left.
This game of chess, you're playing into the hands of the right or the government
Yeah.
in a sense, because then you get polarized because now you're like Team Congress or Team whoever, non-BJP. Let's
Yeah.
call it for now. I won't reveal my
Yeah.
cards. But once you do that, because then you have in a way you're not non-aligned. You cannot be non-aligned
You
because
cannot.
they've
You are
protected you, and obviously you're going to temper your comedy towards them. I'm sure you'll purposely say a few things, but it's very clear that it'll be tempered, so it won't be a sincere effort.
exactly. You
I mean,
make
if they come
BJP jokes every so often.
and if they come to power, or their leader comes to power as the prime minister, if not as a party, but they're represented as the
Yeah.
governing body of the country,
Wow.
then what does she do?
I made a joke and that just completely passed. This shows why I'm not
What?
a
I
comedian,
didn't hear.
right?
I didn't hear. I talk too
I was
much.
just saying that you make BJP jokes every so often. I was making a comparison in that sense, right? But
Oh,
and it was supposed to be a sarcastic, like the double
oh,
sarcasm kind of thing, and just completely
oh.
fell flat.
Okay. And
That's
then
okay.
in the repeating, it didn't have the moment,
It didn't have the
unfortunately.
moment. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
It,
damn.
it
Shall we do the
was
whole
yeah.
show again? We can
I
start without the
we can
high pitched
start.
voice.
Just for this joke. Yeah.
It's
Start with
17 minutes. We haven't gone to a
yeah.
topic yet, so we really could start without a
Yeah.
problem.
We really could. We really could. I was just trying to think, but all the famous people, there must be politicians. No one's coming to mind. If anyone on the chat, well, I suppose that will be out
Uh,
of the question. Can you remember a politician with a really high voice? Now, Rahul Gandhi's voice was not polished
Mm.
enough in the sense that it sounded like an
hmm.
untrained voice initially. There was one thing that went against him. His oratorial skills were not very great.
FTR,
But
FTR, FTR.
was it bad? Was he
Yeah,
whose
yeah.
turn?
He had the. This is a day that will live in infamy.
LaGuardia.
Huh?
Mayor LaGuardia.
Who
I've heard him
LaGuardia? I
speak.
don't know who that is.
It's an airport.
Why
Uh,
would you? Why would
no,
you
no.
even have heard him? Why would you
I
have ever
saw
heard LaGuardia speak?
in some documentary, he was talking, and I remember. I don't know why that was the. I don't
Let's see
even
if
know
I'm right.
why I know that.
I
The
know for
Malan.
sure that this will that FDR ka speech is there on YouTube. Let's see what it sounds like. That we can definitely do.
But while you're finding that, I can tell you Marlon Brando's character in Godfather actually is a very light voice that he uses, even lighter than his
Yeah, it
normal
is.
voice.
It's a very narrow
Hey,
voice.
I gotta tell you, too many people. It's a very light voice, but he's like
It
this
is
fiendish gangster to be not to be trifled with. So that was a good play. I wonder if they did that deliberately because okay, this is
quite
FDR.
possible. Yeah, let's see.
Oh, time for another documentary. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, sorry.
This is only a 1 hour long one. Don't worry.
The President of the United States.
Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker,
Maybe not so
members of
thin.
the Senate,
Hey,
of
Amit,
the House
you
of
set this up.
Representatives,
He sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, it's not that bad. I remember it as being thinner.
Okay, don't worry. We've got only about 25, 30 US presidents to go. We'll keep trying till we get the guy, okay? From Lincoln onwards, till we get the one guy with the poor voice. Was
Amit left.
Amit, Amit is so upset he left.
I was so
Oh,
upset. Like, David is not high pitched. I'm
but
leaving.
you didn't even unleash the comments of one more
Yeah.
failure. The lack of uniformity, the lack of clinical precision on this show. They're writing in and saying,
I'm sorry about that. Instead of
Yeah.
stopping the screen share,
Yeah.
I by mistake hit the
it was
leave
a bit
screen.
like Chandrayaan. You just disappeared for a little while and came back in a good mood. All good. Yeah. Ooh, we'll leave it there. Leave it there.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
leave the ball out of play. Anyway, let's see. On a future date, if we can put this together, we'll try and find high talkers. If anybody out there watching this show can identify and send us, we'll be more than happy. Famous high talkers beyond Mike Tyson and Sachin Tendulkar. Sachin, by the way, has improved his voice
Person, yeah.
tremendously today, and so is Mike. I watched a lot of Mike
Young Al
podcasts with Mike
Pacino.
Tyson.
Young Al Pacino.
It's not like
Eh,
That's around
I,
Serpico. Around Serpico, he had a kind of a high pitch voice, kind of.
maybe,
You
but
know.
I don't know.
It doesn't stand out as unmanly. The unmanly quality should come with it. Then
Oh,
the
okay.
because the contrast of the I mean Scarface with a gun in his hand, and, I'm gonna kill you. It should be like that.
Okay, I found
Yeah.
a article, and I'll throw out some names. Tell me if you guys remember any of it. David Beckham.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. David
The
Beckham,
high pitch
100%.
voice.
High pitched
Okay.
voice and nothing. He's this manly. Well, he's a bit, likes his fashion and all that, but still, he's quite the manly set piece champion footballer. Not given enough respect as a footballer sometimes, I think. So his voice, I've seen a lot of shows with him, or
Okay.
with that the talk show host, the English guy, the big fat fellow, James,
James
whatever his name
Corden.
is,
Corden. James Corden.
James
Corden.
Corden.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
League of Our Own.
so
League of Their Own. That one.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that guy exactly.
Okay.
So yeah, no, that's a good
Uh,
one. That's a good one.
Another one I have is Elijah Wood, the guy from Lord of the
From Lord of the
Rings,
Rings.
and
No, no,
yeah,
Yeah,
he's
it's kind
pretty
of
thin
the
voice.
diminutive fellow, no?
Yeah, yeah,
and
he's got a pretty thin
Charlie
voice.
Day is there in that article also from
Charlie
It's Always
Day,
Sunny
but
in
I thought it's a
Philadelphia.
put on. That's a put on in Philadelphia, isn't it? His
No,
voice,
that's his actual voice. That's his actual
that
Oh,
voice.
screechy
really?
voice is
Interesting.
his.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. That's screechy kind
he's
of
got the
voice,
quality.
squeaky kind of.
Charlie Day.
Yeah.
I always
Uh,
thought that was just an act of the character where he just speaks up. He's
No,
tend
I
to
think
scream.
it sounds
That's
sort
his
of
actual voice.
natural,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And he maintains it for a long time.
yeah,
Then
yeah.
there are some singer
And no,
names
I've
here
heard him in
which I.
interviews. I've heard him in other movies and all. It's all the
Oh,
same
I mean,
voice.
yeah. So the
uh,
voice never broke apparently. That voice couldn't have broken. It's completely like a 14-year-old, not more. Who else?
hmm. There's some singers in here,
Jerry
right? So
Seinfeld goes high.
he's
That's
also
his
actually
Then
kind
style.
of he's
uh,
kind of naturally high too,
yeah,
actually.
Or is it
yeah.
where's he from? Brooklyn? Where's he from? They have that
He's
nasal quality which gives it
I
also,
think
no?
he's
I don't know.
Queens, New York. I think if I'm not mistaken.
Queens or whatever. So it doesn't
Yeah,
have that nasal style of talking because the nasal makes it higher.
yeah, maybe,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
maybe.
But it
Uh,
doesn't
they,
bother me.
they
Yeah.
mention Ryan Reynolds.
No.
But I don't. No, but so
That's
it has a regular low voice, but sometimes his voice is strangled
hmm.
high, especially when he's frustrated. So I get that's just making a high pitched noise. That's not the same thing.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
little unfair. When we're frustrated, we make all kinds of sounds.
Yeah,
What? I mean, come on, that's ridiculous.
and
What about women with low voices?
those are
The other
there.
way.
Catherine is the first one that comes to mind, right? Body Heat, Chandler's mom and Friends,
Even
Kathleen Turner.
our favorite Usha Uthup, her
Yeah,
voice, if you listen to her and you don't know who she
Yep.
is and all
Yep.
that, is
yeah,
very low for a
yeah,
woman.
yeah.
Yeah.
My
Uh,
So,
mom has kind
th-
of a
th-
husky voice.
yeah.
can you
It's
get on the
They,
show?
interesting. Yeah, I'll sometime. Yeah, sure. Not right now.
At some
Not
point,
not
yeah.
not
At
now.
some point when we
Yeah, at
are
some point.
talking about like basically not stuff that is going to get Antariksh in trouble.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
listen,
I mean,
Amit.
it's not.
Antariksh's family is a stamp for all of us, a safety stamp because the sense of Indian democracy surviving. Okay, Amit
Amit left again, dude.
just deliberately walks out and is really throwing a tantrum. We won't put his family on. We won't be nepotistic. What is the problem, boss? Just walked out.
I
Uh,
didn't do anything. I don't know what happened.
no, but
Oh, what?
here
Okay. Crazy.
I'm just loving it because it's not my tech. Although I'm on my way to Alibag, so I better keep my mouth shut. I don't want this thing to spiral. Yeah.
But I did.
But
You're an Alibag.
no, I'm not yet, but I will be
Ah,
because
okay,
of
okay,
this chief
okay. Yeah, yeah.
minister's almost lockdown. It's driving us mad. But anyway, coming back to this, so his family for me is great
One.
because it's very rare to
Uh,
see in India, in America, maybe even India, where the son is more left and the parents are more right in the same family and they live happily, which is a
That's
great,
true.
which actually is a good sign of democracy,
That is true.
because there are happy
I
families
I
living like that.
mean,
I I
Oh,
was
now
actually
happy.
not.
Till they
I was
divide
at.
the property between the two brothers. Then we'll see. The BJP support nahi diya.
yeah.
Sala, you get the car. Only car, mom. Yes, only
Yeah.
car.
No, I wasn't referring to the left right of the situation. I was referring more to the Antariksh secrets of the situation. Things that he might not want to talk about in front of his parents. That's more of what
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
discussing.
Oh,
Yeah, basically,
what
that's
have we
exactly it.
left out? The things that he imbibes, done. Pornography, done. Women who left him or came back, or houses he shouldn't have been in, everything
It's
is.
all
I
done.
mean, now I think he just goes
That's
and tells
true.
her mom because
That's
of
true.
making other podcast ultimately. He just goes and tells
Man,
her, "Hey, get out of the
how do
system."
I
Yeah.
still live in the same house with my parents? How they not
I
kicked
don't
me
know.
out yet is
But
beyond
the
me.
lovely part is you still have the Sharif act of touching feet and speaking beautifully and
Yeah, that's
sweetly to
true.
all
That's
the
true.
elders. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Whereas
true.
biggest Besharam, the moment the curtains are, there goes the biggest, yeah, yeah, I'm a guy, where's my mal? Totally different guy. Yeah.
Okay.
But now coming back to our high talkers, I'm just loving the idea of putting them together in a
The final
montage,
person on that list,
Yeah.
there's one more person on that list is Ricky
Yeah, yeah.
Gervais, and he does have a high voice. Yeah.
He has
Especially
both.
when he's laughing and talking, he has both. Yeah,
I know
but
he does
that
a laugh. The laugh is high, but that's
Yeah.
laugh is
yeah.
super high.
But then Jimmy Carr has a ridiculous laugh, for example. If you listen to his
No, that's
laugh, it's
like a
sort of
ha
Yeah.
ha
spiritual.
ha.
It's a very
Yeah,
strange laugh.
Yeah.
yeah, very strange voice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
oh,
And
oh.
when he's in trouble with the gags not
Uh,
working, he just
you
does the
know,
laugh. Yeah, yeah.
one actor's coming to mind. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Have you all seen The West Wing?
I've seen a bit here and
No,
there,
I'm.
5 minutes.
The actor who plays Josh Lyman, Bradley Whitford, he's got a
Hmm.
high voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not coming to mind.
Okay. All right. That's fair
What
enough.
about in the
Owen
office?
Wilson would kind of be kind
No.
of a high voice.
Owen
Very
He's
Wilson
more
high.
like
has a
Seinfeld. It's a style
yeah.
of talking. But he,
He,
a
he
little bit with a rhetoric style, with the questioning style, it goes up all the
Yeah.
time, whining.
Hmm.
He's a whiner. They're all whiners. Whiners are
yeah.
different. Yeah.
He's a
What do you
Yeah,
whiner.
think?
Okay.
even Josh Lyman's a whiner, but I feel like it's not a thick voice; it's a high voice. Uh,
Similarly, Seinfeld his style is whining. If you look at he brought in the whole
Yeah.
whining
Okay.
style.
Sure.
I'm
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
stand up, but even in the sitcom, ultimately, yeah. Wow.
Hmm.
hmm.
Anyway,
So
so yeah, so that's where we have
So,
it.
uh,
Uh, 28 minutes into the program, from what I can see, 27.
mhm.
So shall we now start with one
We should
topic
yeah,
before we go into break?
do that.
let's end the break.
A
Let's
small
do an early
topic.
break,
Huh.
and then
Why
we'll
don't you
come back
tease that
and do the
we
show.
can tease the topic, right? We can talk about what the
Ah,
topic it
because
is,
no,
Okay.
and then
that's
get
the
people
So
to
yeah,
come
yeah, yeah.
stay for
okay.
the full break after the
Oh
break.
wow.
Stay for the full
Oh
break.
cool.
Also,
Yeah.
we don't know if we'll actually ever do the topic. So that's a double tease there. Go.
What
So
is the topic,
don't you
Antariksh, that
just
we're going to
love it?
discuss?
Don't you just love it when politicians get caught doing just dumb shit that was easily avoidable and they didn't have to
Like
do?
governing.
Yeah, like governing, sure, or getting elected. Why did I do that?
Governing
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
most avoidable. You're right. It's the most easily
Yes.
avoidable of all of their
I mean,
duties.
I don't know why you'd
Yeah.
want to be a building president of a small building. Forget a club. I'm just looking around me, the small worlds I live in, and everywhere there's politics and people calling each other names. And
Yeah,
is it worth it? Does it
I
justify
refuse.
your? I refuse. It doesn't
I
make any
refuse.
sense. You just
I'm
become
not.
the person everybody sort of hates the moment
Yeah,
you come
I'm
into
not
power.
willing to. I'm not willing to be that person in this building. I'm just not. I'm not willing to be that person. I know that it's a thankless job, constant accusations of thievery. Everybody assumes that you are stealing stuff, and in
Hmm.
some cases, like so. To be honest with you, I for the longest time was like, "Hey, they're doing this stuff pro bono. You can't accuse them of thievery."
Yeah,
And then I found out it's fucking happening.
Hmm.
that's the second
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you my
It,
problem. One ex club president took me into the bathroom and told me a story about how a member took him into the toilet, the dressing room,
oh,
for no reason, and put the shower on and showed him how the water is not very strong from the faucet. And he was
amazing.
like, I don't know why I took this job when these things happen. What does he think I'm the plumber?
Yeah,
What a point! It's a
it's
pointless
the
job.
most
Yeah.
thankless job. So like and so I was just really so amazed at like the petty thievery, right? This was not like major
Hmm.
thievery. This was basically that if like honestly it was so shocking to me. It was like, okay, if you are a electrician working in the building, you have to pay me 200 rupees. It was that kind of stupid shit. Yeah,
That's hafta. That's not
it
so
was
much
like
money extortion as it is gangster
yeah,
extortion.
it was ridiculous.
Hmm.
I heard about this and
Wow.
it's like a dude, it's like a
Is that the
75.
figure? Is that the figure? Or you made
It's
up a
not.
figure?
No, no. It was. So it was kind of like that, right? It was
Cyrus,
like
can you raise your
basically.
mic a little bit?
Wow.
It wasn't. I don't know if there was a precise figure, but it was in that range only. It was like you gotta pay if you're
So this
the
guy,
building.
This guy's got a sedan and a SUV and everything parked outside,
No,
and
nothing. Yeah, what he's going to get with like 100 rupees from the electrician here? It's so basically the rule was this, right? That building appoints an electrician, building appoints a plumber, right? There is a building electrician, a building plumber
yeah.
who,
But why does he
if
want the chai pani money from him? I don't get it. What's he gonna do with the hundred
it's
bucks?
literally that, it's the chai pani. You basically pay for my, like, I'm going to go have a cup of tea and a vada
Or
pav and all that
he's
shit's going to get
or
paid
the
for.
president is setting a precedent, because as you go higher with the vendors, the architect,
Oh,
the entire building planners and
I
all that,
it's
then if you're
entirely
getting
possible.
1% of that, is a serious amount of money. It becomes
Yeah.
much more.
No,
Yeah,
so
I like his thinking.
it was
Yeah.
literally that if you're going to become the building plumber or you're going to become the building electrician, you have to pay me 10%. And I was
Is
just
he
like, how?
is he Sicilian? This
Huh?
guy
I mean, he
is
might as well be.
is
Yeah.
his name Giovanni Sabaresi? You check, check. Bro, you were Silvery. We stopped you. You were going to do a whole presentation of go. And then, oh, your
Of,
mom's called. Your mom's called. Be careful. Be very careful. Take
this
the
is not
Cool.
phone.
I
live.
cut it. It's cool. It's cool. It's all right.
Okay.
I'll talk to her later. It's
It's
cool.
live. It's
Uh,
live. Uh,
no, no. But
Go on.
she doesn't know we are recording right now, right? She thinks it's the morning one has
Uh,
happened, and now I can
An
call
Indian
and
mother can
disturb.
never be wrong. Don't worry. All the people listening also be, yes, don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Uh,
Ma hai. The reverb will happen. Now, come on. What was the thing you were presenting?
oh yeah.
You were saying,
So so I thought that was a tease about politicians doing dumb shit, and we come back after
and
the
then we
break.
screwed up your tease, and just before we hit your punchline, we took it somewhere else about governance,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then got a
All good.
lecture about plumbers. I'm so sorry. really apologize. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a horrible team we've created, three of us. It's so unsynchronized. It's scary. You know, I remember seeing a podcast. I think it was Joe Rogan only with three, four comedians, and one guy
Hmm.
cuts the other one when he's about to deliver the punchline. Um, what is his name? The
Was
guy
it
with the slightly
Mark
German
Norman?
sound. Theo Van Theo.
Theo one.
Uh,
Theo one. Yeah,
Theo
yeah,
won. Theo won. Yeah, so he
yeah.
cuts the other guy, and it's just like, wow, how can you cut me now? Who does that? It's like, and then the answer was, and this guy starts talking just on the big setup and a full gag,
That's
because he
so.
wasn't, we don't pay attention to each other all the time. So
Uh,
you try to get your point in, you get your point in, you killed that moment of the other person. Oh, that's beautiful. This is what the podcast is all about. Sorry, it's a free for all. It's like
it's
driving in Mumbai. Our podcast should be called that.
yeah.
So should we take the
it,
break?
Let's take the break.
yes.
Okay, we're taking a break, and as we're going to break, a video by the veteran Subhash Ghai.
Hey everybody, it's
Video.
been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Pesa Vesa, Anupam talks to Vedant Krishnan along with the co-founders of FamPay, Sambhav Jain and Kush Taneja. They discuss financial preparation for teenagers and how to get them started. On the Filter Coffee podcast, Karthik speaks to Gautam Chintamani, discover his journey as a film historian, documentary filmmaker, and political author. On Tere Mere Raste, Keshav explores London City through the famous underground tube. On Say No to Drama, Chetna supplies some fresh New Year reminders to keep in sight and keep in mind. And on Hansvani, hear the story Azrael Ki Pukar. It highlights the gratitude we should have for our parents. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. Also, don't forget to rate us on any of the platforms you're listening to us on. And you can also check us out on YouTube. You can have a list of all of our shows at ivmpodcast.com/YouTube. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Bank of Baroda and CoinSwitch Kuber.
Yeah, sports channels do it a lot. Self promos is part of the deal and all that.
Yeah.
But I think back to the original is the hoarding guy who, when he has no work for months, he puts himself up. Uh,
Yeah.
so talks about the
Yeah.
hoarding available best in Asia, available all over the country, and all that. But he's like, really? Why isn't anyone on it? Months pass, it's the same thing.
Why does everybody in Bombay know the word sell well? Right?
Sell
I
well,
mean,
yeah,
there's no reason
Yeah.
for us to know
Yeah.
the word
Correct.
name of a company that sells outdoor advertising.
yeah.
But they got probably one of the strongest brands in the country, or at least in the
They
city,
have.
right?
They have. We don't know how well the business is doing. I did know the man who ran it. He was
Yeah.
also ex-president of CCI. But let me tell you, there's no one in Bombay who doesn't know Selwell. They would have read
Yeah.
it in their childhood and onwards. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, how
Wow.
many prank calls do you think those guys get? Like, contact this
Hundreds,
number, whatever.
hundreds.
I'm
So,
sure, right?
well,
Hmm.
my old partner in my old business, right? He was very close to the folks who ran Roshan Publicity. So, that was
Oh
his
yeah.
business as well. He used to do
Hmm.
outdoor advertising, right? But he was more about, like, he'd get the what they would do is they would sublease their hoardings to Roshan Advertising. And so the guys from Roshan used to come to our office all the time. And I've had this conversation with them. It's non-stop. It's non-stop. It's basically the numbers that they are giving over there. It just does not stop. So I actually know a surprising number of people in the hoarding business. Very close school friend of mine, a guy named Yash Gala. Uh, he runs a hoarding company called Zenith Outdoors.
I've seen
And
that. I've seen that all over.
Yeah, same
yeah, yeah,
all
Zenith.
Roshan and Zenith.
Yeah.
Oh, those
yeah,
popular ones.
Zenith's a pretty big one in
I
that
would
Yeah,
never
sense, right?
use a
yeah.
Z in Indian vernacular because it becomes J very fast. So all the time, hello, is that Zenith? You'll get that all his life. It's been a
So
headache.
Yash started the Zenith. Yash started the business when we were very young, right? So basically, his dad was into retail and a whole bunch of other things, right? Building, retail, etc. But Yash got into this outdoor business right after college because he met a couple of people. It seemed really interesting, and so he got into this outdoor building business right after college. And in excitement of first starting a business, he put his own phone number up there
Oh
on the hoardings
no.
because hey,
Oh,
if a
rookie
customer
mistake.
wants, yeah,
Yeah.
customer wants,
Yeah.
I've got to answer.
Oh
And
Wow.
yeah,
man.
What a
that
Oh
was
sacrifice.
man.
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Still
What
answering
what
till
year
today.
what year was this again? Like what year
this
was
would
this
have
again?
been 96, 97, something like that.
Okay. Oh,
Cell
Last
phones
year.
prank
were
calls galore,
just,
right?
yeah,
No,
no,
yeah,
cell
no
phones were
caller ID.
just coming at this point, right?
Huh.
And but cell phones were expensive enough that you wouldn't get so many prank calls also, right? It was like 4 rupees per minute
Mm,
times.
But we
So
used to
not
do
that.
that.
yeah.
No.
I love doing prank calls. I love
Yeah.
doing. I would have gone for this guy. We love doing that when we were together on a Saturday afternoon. Just call people up. We just
Yeah,
call
but
random
Cyrus,
numbers and see strange things. Like, oh, mar
at
gaya
four
kya?
rupees at 4 rupees per minute.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. 80,
It,
180 calls
yeah,
were
yeah.
free.
Oh, was it? I thought it was like no, man. I thought
Landline,
because you were paying
180
3,000
calls.
rupees, 180 rupees. No, no, but you have to remember the number from the hoarding to take it home and do it, no?
No, that old number, I can't remember doing from a hoarding, but we used to call
Oh,
random people and do that, just irritate them. I still do that on Saturdays if I have nothing to do. The only
Did
thing
you
is I
ever
make a
prank
mistake of
call?
using the mobile. Oh.
Yeah. Did you ever prank call the cops by dialing 100 and
No, but in MTV,
then get
I
scared when
crank
they
call.
call you back? Like, oh shit, they actually called me back. That's
When they made
crazy.
us work on 26 Jan, I organized a nice prank in MTV where
Yeah.
we called up the operator. And
oh.
I had a friend of mine who speaks Chase Marathi say that you are working on 26 January. We are sending the car van is coming just now to pick you up. And he took her name, poor thing. Because she gave her name to the guy and all this.
Yeah.
She came to us and said, please stop shooting. They want to arrest us and all. We're not supposed to work on 26 Jan apparently. That's how
There
I
are
learned about it also. It was a
there are
great
four
time. Yeah.
days a year in India which are not allowed to work. I found
The
out
two the,
recently.
the two Gandhis, 15th and
26 Jan,
26th. Yeah.
20, no,
Yeah.
not the two Gandhis. 20 in Maharashtra is 4 days. Rest of India is 3 days.
Yeah.
26 Jan, 2nd October, 15th August, and
Hmm.
only in Maharashtra 1st of May.
Which is Labor Day and Maharashtra Day.
Maharashtra Day.
Samyukta
These are
Maharashtra movement.
yeah, these are the basically 4 days where everybody has to be off no matter what. All
But
other
thanks to the
holidays,
lockdown, we only worked 3 days.
yeah,
But where were we? What were we talking about? The hoarding.
Yes, yes.
Well, if I allowed you
Yeah.
to put anything up on hoarding and you're a really rich guy, what would you put up? Like I'd love to abuse my friends. It'd be like Parag YouTube. When he wakes up in the morning, he's like,
Yeah.
there are a lot of really
I
funny
slept with
hoarding.
your wife. Yeah, sorry.
Have you guys
So
seen that movie? Three hoardings outside of Ebbing,
three
Missouri.
hoardings are Ebbings, Missouri. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in the US, this is a thing that happens a lot, right? That I mean, like people put up hoardings for like pranks and reasons of all natures because it's a lot. I don't know why we don't do this in India, but I mean, like people do this all over, right? So I know that outside the Philadelphia Eagles stadium. There is a hoarding, which is often bought by fans with messages they want to send to the team, right? So, like they'll say, trade this player, fire this coach. They'll put
Oh
hoardings like that
wow.
up.
So they can. It's basically sledging. You can sledge your own players, and no one can stop
Sledge
you.
your own players, and basically they're seeing it out of their office windows,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, like
Forget
the
that.
coach is saying,
It'll be carried on the internet in 5 seconds. So it'll be all
yeah,
over. It goes beyond recording.
yeah,
Wow. Hey, let's
no,
start this. Hey, that's a great business idea. Let's do this here. Let's get one hoarding. It's just for people to vent. Come on,
okay,
man. I think if you encourage them to
we
vent,
can,
these hoardings will sell. The
I
problem is
think we
they
can.
always try to put brands. Forget the brands. Brands are important. Lower the prices. Let people vent. Give them just for 4 hours, for example. Give a 4 hour
But
deal.
there
Shall
are a
we
lot of these hoarding
three of
pranks
us
that
invest in
people
a
have done.
hoarding? Okay, let me say that
Sorry.
slowly. A hoarding. Oh, okay,
Okay,
done. Done, done,
done.
done, done. And I'm
Uh,
telling you, I can see money. I can see a lot of money from this one
yeah.
act. because every single CHUT across the country will be like, I want to be part of this deal. Let me abuse my cousin today. Who would do it, man?
No, but I
Yeah,
think it's but the fun is when you geographically combine it, right?
yeah,
Like if you do something like let's say outside the CNBC office, you well maybe let's take another one, right? Because the
yeah. Let's
example
take
might
it.
get a
I can
little
only
bit
learn from one place. Yeah,
yeah, it might become a little weird.
really.
Okay.
Let's go with
Uh,
NDTV. Let's be safe.
no,
Yeah,
okay, let's talk about NDTV, right?
yeah.
So outside of the NDTV office, right? What if somebody put up a hoarding saying that Pranay Roy is
Looking
not
for interns.
is looking for it. Well, there you go. Whatever
Yeah,
you
yeah,
want, right?
yeah, yeah.
So stuff like that, right? I mean, like those are the kinds of things where it's fun, right? Where you put something outside somebody's office, right? Outside, I don't know.
Silvery's jotting down notes outside IVM when we resume.
Yeah,
Amit
meanwhile,
won't mind. It was his idea.
yeah,
And we
but
took
well, the good thing is that IVM is on a main road, so hoarding would be pretty fucking expensive. So I don't think that anybody's just playing a prank on us like
it's
that.
worth the
And
prank.
it
Yeah.
requires an investment. It requires a significant investment, right? To put a hoarding
Silvery,
outside
what
our
would you
office.
put up? Amit shaved today. What? I'm working from home. Boo. Yeah, he's gone on mute to be safe.
I'd be like, ladies, call me at this number, and then just get prank calls. Just guys pretending to be girls would be
Yeah,
hilarious. I think.
pretty much that's
Yeah,
exactly what you would see.
that's exactly what would happen. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That'd be
Or
funny.
even better, do a money gag, no? Say,
They'll be
those
all high pitched voices. No, guys, these guys will all have high
Or
pitched voices.
what
loans
we
of
could
1
do,
crore and above at no interest available
and
here.
then
Boom.
exactly, and then
Rohit
put
Agarwal
somebody's
at
Yeah.
777222. And
Oh,
boom.
yeah, that's
mm,
true.
I mean, that'll
yeah,
just hit it out of the park. Can you imagine? It's too good to be
yeah,
true. Hurry. Just put about hurry. That makes it sound ledge immediately.
yeah.
All right.
No,
So,
no interest, no collateral loan available.
no,
Or
yeah, yeah. Because
yeah,
we want to believe, no? That's how you
yeah.
sell the stories in life, right? Because there's someone who actually wants to believe because that romance is there in your head that it can come true one day.
Okay, I got the right one for outside the CNBC office. Okay,
Yeah.
outside the CNBC office, we put one saying that Cyrus and Kunal are looking for jokes, and then put your phone numbers there, right? And then let people call you with their
But
jokes.
it's too close to the truth. We are looking for
That's
jokes.
funny.
Yeah, but do you
Can you
really?
do something? That's too close. That's scary. But we could get Kunal properly. Kunal looking for life partner, male, female, both apply. It's more subtle. Gender, no issue, something like that, you know. Alrighty. Let's move this along.
Okay,
Yes,
42
we have
minutes,
that
no
topic.
topic.
We have that
We have
topic.
the topic.
We didn't do the topic
Yes.
yet.
We didn't do the topic
No, no,
yet.
we
We
didn't.
came back and
We
we came
can talk
back and
about
we started
billboards.
talking. We talked
I mean,
about
we
billboards.
did a prime minister doing shoulder press or something. I mean, so that I
Yeah,
guess
yeah, we did.
vaguely,
That's kind of the
yeah.
topic. Yeah,
And
Eh,
Abraham Lincoln documentary. We went all across the United States to find one high
yeah.
pitched talker and failed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
facts.
this show is an exercise in futility. I'm glad the people who are on the ride with us accept that. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
taking a rickshaw in the suburbs in Russia. You're not going to go anywhere.
Mm.
So
Okay,
what do we
so
got?
I saw so this is a this movie just came out, right? I had a search for billboard pranks up there. The movie Red
Mm.
Notice just came out on Netflix.
Netflix.
Yeah, yeah, we saw the
Yeah,
hoarding
Uh,
with
yeah.
the Rock,
yeah.
So
etc. Huh.
right, so Dwayne Johnson basically paid for a hoarding saying right next to the
Kevin Hart.
movie.
Yeah,
No, for Ryan Reynolds. Ryan
yeah.
Reynolds uses his mom's Netflix account right next to the hoarding for the movie itself.
Yeah,
So
that's funny.
people do this
But
kind of stuff, right?
no,
It's a
that's
funny
not
thing.
fair
Yeah.
because if you're the highest paid star in the world, etc., you can buy a bloody hoarding for 3 days easily, or your
Yeah,
PR company would have done it anyway. But I'm saying I want to open it for the common man because common man's angst is so real. Can you imagine a guy hates his wife? Suparna, your chuddy smell. I don't know. I mean, just imagine guys just going crazy. You just give them this whole canvas and say what you want. Abuse the neighbor, abuse the local cabbie, abuse the vendor you buy stuff from, the Scootsy guy who ran over you. There's no end to it. Cable operators who never turn up. My Tata Sky, my poor mother has aged 1 year waiting for the Tata Sky guys to come. It's taken about
yeah,
2 months for a 1 day's job. These little things, gotta go for it. We'll be the what Ornop didn't do but pretended to do. We can do it really. Allow them to vent. Let's save middle class India with one hoarding at a time. Who's with me?
Let's do it.
Nobody.
I think we should do
Just
it.
contact
Nobody.
Roshan and
Nobody.
Zenith
You guys think it's a
and
failed idea already? Yeah.
No, no,
Somebody, there's a guy called Yash Gala somewhere screaming, nah!
I,
Don't
I, I
call
really
me.
I do like the idea of like these kinds of funny hoarding things, right? I think that there's a lot of
Oh, I think.
there's some really good ones, right? Like so I'm seeing this guy put up a hoarding saying wish my dad happy birthday and put up his friend's phone number. So there's a bunch of different
Oh,
stuff
there's a
like that.
dude in London. There's a dude in London. Rishi just shared this in the chat. Yeah, there's a dude in London who put up a hoarding of himself and said, "Save me from an arranged marriage and find Malik a wife." .com.
Okay.
So
Uh,
obviously, it's a friend doing it on somebody. Most
that
99%.
that's it could
Yeah,
be it. Could be
yeah.
it.
I mean,
This is another funny one, but this is more you need to know a little bit about the software world for this to be funny, but it's hilarious to me, right?
show the visual if you can. Huh? Can't you
I
upload
can
it
show the
quickly?
village. I can show
Yeah.
the visual. Once I can
Yeah.
share screen,
I mean, there's
Chrome tab.
artworks involved in these.
Yes. So this is the one which I think is very funny.
Box.net,
Love
SharePoint. Thanks
heart
for all
share
the customers.
from
Heart
Box
SharePoint.
because
Thanks
SharePoint
for all the
basically
customers. Box.
thanks for all the basically
So
SharePoint sucked.
the rival, huh?
Yeah, SharePoint sucked, and so basically Box.net was able to steal all its customers.
Steal the customers. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's mean, right? But it's funny
yeah,
mean, I guess.
yeah.
Didn't Pepsi go that way
Here's
with
another
Coke?
one. Same one from the same folks, right? Sharing files shouldn't suck. No hardware, no software, no SharePoint.
Yeah, negative advertising. The Americans do that still. I don't think we
Yeah.
do it too much here. As far as I
Well,
remember, Pepsi did it to Coke, but not Coke to Pepsi.
yeah, I don't think we're allowed to. I think that there is a
It's not in
what do you
the
call it?
Parampara and Sanskriti.
Yeah, no,
You
it's
can't do it.
against it's against the
Uh,
goal. The advertising council, not the ASCII
yeah,
council thing,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Because they're
Yeah.
so above board and everybody is not
Yes.
incorruptible and morally perfect. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but
No.
you know
You.
the Mountain Dew and Sprite had a thing.
Mhm.
Like
And
what?
Coke and Pepsi have gone
No,
back
no,
and forth
no, no, no,
multiple
no.
times actually.
It's always under the radar types. They'll go back and forth, but they will not go back and forth like like for example, I remember at the time when I think Coke launched second in India, Pepsi launched first, right?
Yeah.
And so at the time
Hmm.
when Coke was
Remo.
launching,
Hmm.
the Pepsi had this long running campaign in other markets called the Pepsi Taste Test, right?
Yeah.
Which is people are used to drinking Coke, but actually, if you get people to taste it, Pepsi is what they like more. In a
Yeah.
blind test, more people like Pepsi, right? And they were not able to do it. I remember there was something about them like this falls foul of ASCII guidelines.
Oh wow.
Well, I also think that Pepsi was easier to pronounce in North India. Oh, Pepsi. It just worked better, the pronunciation. And Coke, not to quote
Becomes
the
Coke.
Saina Nehwal Siddharth issue, what happened. Albeit apparently he had to tweet an apology because he won't get
He
off his
tweeted an
back.
apology. Here's the thing. I
But what do you
still
want him to
don't.
do, Amit? They bury you into the ground, no? They make it into
I
sexism. There was
guess.
no sexism. But you have to just back off because mom and dad will tell him, people around him, tell him, bro, just get off it, man. Forget it. What are you
Yeah.
going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
Yeah.
sad.
call cock and bull on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still don't understand
Mob
the whole
bull,
thing. I
huh?
I really I just
Yeah.
don't
Nothing.
understand the
He
whole
was
thing.
being funny. Look,
Yeah. I
this is
know.
a setup. He's been set up.
Yeah.
They've attacked him and they've pushed people, some of them consciously, some of them, pretending to believe this is the truth or whatever. I can't tell you what their intentions are, but 100% it then became like a woman's Me Too movement thingy, no?
Mm. Yeah.
It's not this huge thing. You'll be very careful of that. It spirals. And then the people involved are emotional, and like they are against Salman Rushdie at times and whoever, I mean, they're not thinking. They're just saying, oh, he made sexist comment about genitalia and all that. But it's not that at all. He's simply playing a play on words because he's an
No.
educated man who did that, and
I
just yeah, just clearly criticizing the super supporter, which is fine. This is social democracy. You can have a super supporter and you can have the anti-super supporter, and
yeah.
that's fine. What's it got to do with sex? There was no sex. There was no
No, nothing.
genitalia.
I just
Nothing.
I don't understand the whole controversy. It seems so ludicrous on the face of it, right? That I mean, like, how is this a thing? I don't even get it.
Because you're an intelligent person, but for less intelligent people, it became
I
something to fight and
guess.
die for. It's very sad. But that's why I think we should have a third umpire in
Yeah.
OTT and in internet issues. 100%. You should have a third umpire who can
So
quickly give a decision saying, not intended to be malicious. Bye bye. Boom.
but you know what? You're right. Actually, now that I think about it, this was I think I might have told you this story before, right? But I remember once when I told somebody that this is the dumbest rule I ever heard. This was related to some club bill payment thing where they wanted something to happen. I said, "This is the
Yeah,
dumbest rule." He's like,
BCA.
"How
BCA.
dare
Yeah,
you
yeah.
call me dumb? How dare you call me dumb? How
The
dare you call me
BCA.
dumb?"
Yeah, I've heard this.
Yeah,
You
with
went to pay
BCI,
the
right?
bill or somebody
Yeah,
else's bill or something like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. and,
Yeah,
and basically I think the idea is, as long as the word is used in proximity, it's enough to
yeah,
kind of say that you're calling this person this, right?
yeah.
Because again, like, he's using the word cock in proximity to Saina Nehwal tweet.
But that
There's
was
no
not the usage of
relationship.
the word cock, is
Exactly,
in a
but
hyphenated
Yeah.
usage of another word which has got nothing to do with the sexual
I
connotation.
agree.
So there's really no, this is the dirty mind of the person involved, or rather the
Yep,
cunning mind of the person who decided, let's screw him by
yep,
using this technique and saying this is what he intended to say. So all the
yep.
women jump on the bandwagon and say, Maro usko chappal se. Which they could do for his acting, but not for his philosophy, I think. No, that's completely wrong.
Agreed.
By the way, folks, we are at 6:20. Oh, sorry, I don't know what the time is because it's live,
It's
but it's
uh,
50 minutes into the
we're
show.
50 minutes into the show and we have not
Yeah.
touched our topic yet.
Let's
And
I
we have
let's
think
let's
AMAs.
finish the
let's
topic
leave the
quickly.
topic for next time.
We
Yes,
already we already
I
teased
applaud
it.
you, and Daniel,
I
We
think we
teased it
should
in
leave
the
the
mid
topic for
in the
next
half
you
time.
part.
upset him.
Let,
He,
let,
by
let,
the way,
let's do
folks,
the
folks listening, by the way, Silvery wakes up early morning and he puts his topics together. He works really hard. He then eliminates a lot of topics.
I
So there's
know,
a lot
for
of,
the one topic he really had to work hard to find the
Yeah,
one
yeah.
topic. A
No,
4 week
actually
yeah.
I
old story.
have
Sorry.
Hey, Amit, that's not fair because in
actually I
his mind
have
he's
seven
thinking that only
topics.
the
I have
cream,
seven
exactly,
topics,
only the cream of those
but
seven
one of the
topics will
one,
reach
yeah,
the surface,
exactly.
and that's the one
Yeah.
that's going to. Let's face it, our average is so poor. So he thinks, let me make sure that the bang for the buck one
Exactly.
gets it.
There's no point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I can
Like
All
earlier
understand
right,
I
what you're
would
let's
like
saying.
let's let's do the
okay, let's just
topic.
do the topic. Let's do the topic.
Let's
Okay,
do
Okay,
the
this
let's
is
do the
topic.
very
topic.
interesting
Yes.
one.
We'll do less
So basically,
AMAs this time and take more AMAs the next time. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. That
go on.
works. Uh this one basically, as I said, this politicians getting caught doing dumb shit. That was easily
Hmm.
avoidable. This
People
happened
have
Private.
in the
forgotten. Antariksh, it was 25 minutes ago. People have forgotten. I think you need to go. You'll need to, like,
yeah, yeah. I'm,
give
I'm
that
gonna
full
and talk
context
of the
that
whole
you gave
thing.
from beginning.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Of course, of course. So
And
basically,
he's
this
known
is
as
this.
Bojo, like Flojo or Kejo.
Okay, this is
Yeah.
Boris
Dude, you're
Johnson
spoilers.
is the person.
Spoilers, man. He
Oh,
hasn't
sorry,
given
I'm
you the
not supposed
story
to.
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. The one
Yeah.
That's
topic we
fine,
waited
man.
all
It's all
evening
good.
for. I'm so
It's all
50
sorry.
good.
minutes spoil.
It's
50
all fine.
minutes
People
in.
don't know.
Your mother's gonna be so angry with me, man.
It's all good. All right, it's fine.
I'm voting BJP. Tell her I'm voting BJP. I
Uh,
won't do this again.
so in the height of the pandemic last year in May 2020, uh, the UK, this is when UK was going through like very harsh, strict lockdown rules, which is like from each house, only two people are allowed to meet, and that too only outside, not indoors. If you want to meet other people, you could no restaurants, schools open, no pubs, nothing, no outdoor activities allowed whatsoever. Right in the heart of that, in the midst of all of that, from the UK Prime Minister's office, a message goes to his employees saying, "Okay, hey, let's come and enjoy this lovely weather we are seeing right now, and have a party at a socially distanced party, but come for a party at the Prime Minister's garden, like in his residence, his own garden in his residence." And about 40 people ended up attending. And since then, the Labour Party and all the other his opposition, anyone basically who can see that the rules
Yeah.
that
Also, the
Boris
problem
Johnson has
is,
made for
uh,
himself,
uh, put into
made for
context
others, don't
exactly.
apply to him. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, exactly what you're saying is that all these larger than life leaders like Boris Johnson, our leader, American leaders, German leaders, they are very very big personalities. Also, they're not just one of those leaders who you just don't hear of. So he goes on pontificating and pointing fingers and scolding people and telling them what to do, etc., etc., etc. And they were severe about the lockdown initially. In 2020, so
Hmm.
then the hypocrisy is the problem. Literally, it's like you're the one screaming and shouting from the rooftops, and then you're the one who on the ground floor of the same rooftop is enjoying a little party. But I'm sure he's not the only one. I'm sure plenty of people who are pointing fingers and saying do the right thing, including celebrities on Insta, saying wear your mask and do this and do that. They don't follow
Are
anything.
not. That's true. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sure.
why I think we should never,
But this
never.
is, but this is also like similar to. I mean, not nearly as big a scandal, of course. It's actually in the main thing of it. I'm sure it's like even a smaller scandal, right? But it comes down to the like, was it Nixon who had said, "Okay, if the president does it, then it's legal," right? Who's Watergate? It was Nixon, right?
President said that at
Yeah,
the end of the Frost Nixon movie.
yeah,
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
a it's
So
not a real
basically the same.
statement, but you're pulling
Oh,
he
really?
didn't exact.
megalomaniacal.
Okay,
So
I thought
Yeah,
it was
he
okay.
no. So basically, there was a movie called Frost Nixon which came out, right, a couple of years ago.
yeah.
Hmm.
It had that guy in it, the guy who plays the judge in Chicago 7. He was
Does he have a high
the
voice? Only people with high voices
actually
give opinions on
No, no,
things.
it wasn't
surprisingly,
I.
he doesn't have like a low voice. He does have a kind of highish voice, but not like super high. But at the end of that movie, that was the gotcha. But actually, uh, in history, that's not exactly how that played out.
No, but they took a little liberty. That's fine. And in a
Yeah.
sense, it's like a blurb that he would have said because you looked at his
No,
personality and
it
said
is.
he
It
would
is.
have said.
Apparently, that is transcript from his of an interview he did with someone called David Frost.
David Frost. Yeah,
Uh,
That's the
David
whole
Frost.
thing, Silvery.
That's what I
David
just
Frost is an
said. Frost
iconic
Nixon.
legend.
oh,
Oh,
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but then it's
interviews,
legal. Then,
famous
then it's real
interviews.
No,
then.
no. So he did say it, but the thing is that when you read when you listen to the context of the entire interview, right? So the way
Hmm.
the movie Frost Nixon was done and the way people see that movie, right, is as if it
Okay,
was
okay.
this combative thing between two people going at each other,
Hmm.
Hmm.
trying to
Okay, okay.
kind of like, he's trying to get him to say something. This guy's defending
No, no,
himself.
but there was a little
That's not what it
one-upmanship
was.
in the actual interview also.
No, man, that actual interview was entirely a complete PR stunt put together by both of them for Frost to sell books and for Nixon to make himself innocent. It was a total out and out
Hmm.
PR kind of thing.
Oh wow.
So there was no gotcha in the interview, even if he said it, and he probably did say it. There was
It
no
was
kind of
more like
like
a
moment.
tongue-in-cheek. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No,
But let's. But for one second, let's go back home. Deva Gowda, I remember quite clearly. Deva Gowda's son or somebody got married in the middle of the pandemic, and they had lots of people over and a huge sangeet and the
yeah,
usual
yeah, I
stuff.
remember that.
I'm sure, and in the length and breadth of India, you're telling me not other politicians, high-profile politicians across many states must have had sangeets and parties and weddings and what have you. So
Obama had his 60th birthday party during the rise of Delta, didn't he?
you
If I
can't blame
remember
him.
correctly.
I
Yeah.
mean, you
Really?
can't blame him. You're 60 only once. You can't celebrate it 2 years later. So it's the right
I
thing to
get
do.
that. I
Yeah,
get that.
yeah.
But still, it was in the middle of the Delta kind of when Delta was becoming when Delta was becoming more and more of a problem. He had his 60th birthday party then.
Yeah, but also
So
look at the people who attend these things. Now, in the case of the Prime Minister of Britain, is it are you talking about members of Parliament and members of your party and what have you, and influential people? It's also that you I mean, you better not neglect the invitation because that could be dangerous because he's in a
yeah,
position of power, etc., etc. So I'm thinking that when he invites you, you also have to go even if you don't want to go. Sometimes I'm thinking.
true.
Hmm.
So that's a double crime because you
Yep.
know that you're the kind of guy who, when you call people, they are going to have to come because of the
Antariksh, when
office.
I invite you for a party, you better show up.
No, he'll do it
Like
from home.
yeah.
Okay, good. Oh well.
And Silvery, when I invite you for a party, don't bother because I'll be sleeping by the time you come. My
Oh,
party
okay.
timings are
Good.
same as any children's party, 4 to
Works
7,
out.
and 7:01 lights off. Yeah. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right.
It's nearly the full hour. You have to go, right,
Yeah.
Amit?
I have
I
one
have
AMA question. Should we do
okay.
one?
Let's do it. Let's do
Yeah.
one. I have a few
Yeah.
minutes. I have a 6:30 call, but
Okay.
or
So we have.
I have a 60-minute call, but yeah, I have a few
You
minutes.
mean a 7 o'clock call, but okay, I'll let it
What
go because your
60 minutes
mind.
post start?
Right, right.
I have a call
Um,
scheduled 60 minutes post start.
Post
Hmm?
start. Off to the AMAs. There we go. Boom.
All right. This one and only AMA question comes in from Sachin SN. Uh, whose question actually is similar to what we were talking about, like along the same lines. But before that, he says, writing my first AMA to you guys. Let me start by
Oh,
saying I'm a
a
huge fan of
debutant,
Cock
a
and Bull, and I
virgin.
listen.
Huh.
Yes, yes, yes. Huge fan of Cock and Bull, and I listen to it during my morning jogs. People see me and may think I'm mad as I will be laughing hearing the conversation between you guys. You guys are totally awesome.
Hey, they're not
That's
laughing at the
very kind,
conversation.
Sachin. Thank you so much.
Sylvie, they're laughing at the stupidity of these three people not able to put anything together after 1 hour. This is
One
really
hour, one
not.
topic.
And
Yes.
even that, the conclusion is we weren't clear. Did Nixon say it? Did Nixon not say it? I mean, it's all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah. He says, my question for you guys is, recently there was a rally conducted by a certain political group in Karnataka for constructing a dam. Although I feel the motive is good, but I feel the timing is wrong. And during a peak rise in COVID cases, especially in Bangalore, there has been no steps taken to stop these guys from rallying. But on the other hand, when there was weekend lockdown, the common man's vehicles were seized and would be returned after a certain duration. Why is
It's a
there
super
different
point.
rules to different sections of society? Shouldn't the rules be
Absolutely
same
super
for all the
point.
citizens?
And let me just quickly bring up because we had this time just a couple of weeks away from UP elections in full blown UP elections, and our chief minister there has gone on record, and I'm not quoting out of place. This is on record to say that 90% of UPIs are asymptomatic. Okay, which I suppose means wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We can now have our rallies. So EC, please
Yeah.
don't interfere because 90% of us are asymptomatic. I don't know if there's any power in the world who can give you this data of a big country like India's. Or,
Yeah.
take the biggest state and just say, I don't know. How do you come to that figure? 90% are
Yep.
asymptomatic in the
Make shit
middle
up.
of this third wave.
Make
I,
shit up.
so
No, I mean
power.
like the what is the medical thing? ICMR, is that what it's called? the head or one of the senior guys from there went on yesterday and said similar stuff like that, right? That I mean, like it's all asymptomatic. 80% of us are going to get it. Nothing is going to happen. We have to learn to just kind of like, if you don't have symptoms, don't get yourself tested. All this shit. I mean, like the guy who is the point guy, one of the point guys the government is telling is don't get yourself tested if you don't have symptoms, right? Don't test yourself on the basis of exposure. I mean, like, how is that? That's just such a.
No,
It's like, what the fuck have we been doing for the last 2 years then?
yeah, it's all.
Yeah.
It's also, why can't they just be transparent and say this is the reason why we can't control these
Yeah.
numbers anymore? So we're requesting you to not get tested unless you're really feeling sick because we have an infrastructure issue. You see, then
Yeah.
I probably lean towards understanding what's going on. But it's just like you're just making up numbers all the time and telling me numbers 80% this and 30% that and 50% this.
Yeah.
In this case, the dam, I don't know if they're for the dam or against the dam because normally, against the
There's
dam
only
is trying to
protest. Yeah, only protests
tribal
only happen
land and
against.
yeah. So as he
pro-
says, the cause may be good. At the end of it, there's
I,
such a
I
desperation.
don't think so.
I
That's
don't
a
know. I'm
different
just
thing.
saying. I'm just saying. If people are losing their
I'm
land, Amit, out of a sense
90%
of
of the time.
desperation, it's like
I'm
the
pro land.
farmers. Out of no, yes, but out of desperation, sometimes you say, I've got nothing more to lose. You take away my land, so I'll stand together and abuse the government or whoever's doing it.
That's fine.
So,
Do that. They're
so
allowed to protest, but I'm pro dam.
damn you.
I'm pro dam. I mean, like in almost
Yeah.
every case,
No,
the
I
reason to
can't.
make a dam is more power, more development,
It
more
may be so, but
infrastructure, more
I
this.
no, I think that's a little unfair. We can't just do blanket statements like that. We got to see the lay of the land, how the situation is, how many
Obviously,
people have been,
specifics
you know.
matter.
So yeah, the
Dislocated. Yeah.
Yeah,
specifics.
obviously
What you say is
specifics
correct.
matter.
What you're saying is you're pro progress. So it's like even
Yeah,
with the roads and everything else. So everything pro modernization and progress. Fair enough.
yeah,
But we can't do it in such a way that you behave like some blitzkrieg mammoth and just destroy everybody in
yeah.
30 seconds.
I
So
agree. I mean, it doesn't make sense to put a dam right in front of a big city. Obviously not, right? You don't want a floodplain where your city is enveloped. I understand that, but
anyway,
urbanization is the key factor for progress.
yeah, but coming back to the question, and the point here is there a point where you have some legal, not legal, is there a point where you have some moral right to disregard the COVID pandemic rules?
Mhm.
Okay, so if there is, then I'm saying if you're losing house and work and so your society as you see it is going to vanish in front of you, I'm thinking that maybe at that point a person is going to say, screw all this, screw the COVID pandemic.
Yeah,
So there might be, I'm just saying there might be, depending on each individual, a point. For me, it was when they told me to go back home. I couldn't believe it. I firstly don't like home. But when you tell me to go back home, I'm like Novak Djokovic. I'm like, don't tell me what to do. Okay? I'm a spoiled guy, yaar. I'm
who
a spoiled guy. I'm not going to listen to your pop. Then he
who
screamed
told
at
you
me.
to go
So,
back home?
right, the first 2020 thing when they started with the
Oh, okay,
loudspeakers, I couldn't
2020.
bear
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
Amit.
yeah. Okay,
I,
yeah,
I
yeah,
just,
yeah.
I
Of
don't, I
course.
don't know why people weren't more hurt and angry with the police shouting at them from the loudspeakers and
Oh, you're talking about the cops. I thought you were talking about work people. Okay, sorry,
even
sorry.
work
I
people,
misunderstood. I
just people
misunderstood.
behaving in this panicky fashion, talking
Yeah,
down, taking away your liberty. Just now, we just go to this whole Djokovic thing. End of the day, Australia's behavior has been a little atrocious for me. A lot of people are saying, "How dare he do this? How dare he do that?" But the end of the matter, they've just been ridiculous. They've been so high-handed about everything, and they had a very severe lockdown. Australia has lost a lot of points for
yeah.
me. I'm not happy
Agreed.
with Scott Morrison. I really am.
Agreed.
Can we get him on the show? That'll teach him.
Sure, I'll give him a call tomorrow.
Yeah. That'll teach him.
Okay.
Tell
All
him to
right.
show up.
All right. Cheers,
Cool.
guys.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, Amit, go back, earn some money for us. I'll go and
Thank
walk
you.
my dogs. We all
I
have
shall
different
do that.
lives. Uh, as they say in Gujarati, adios, amigos.